Well, welcome back to Oracle TV, and I'm excited to sit down with our next guest, Chris Leone, who is the Executive Vice President of Applications Development at Oracle, to talk a little bit about what's next in the evolution for AI inside Fusion applications. Chris, thank you so much for being here.
It's a pleasure to be back.
All right. Well, we just announced 22 new Fusion Agentic applications. So can you bring us back to exactly what agentic means, and also what this shift means for how we think about automation?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, agentic is really how you can inject AI into a system, right? So agentic systems have AI as part of them. And agentic applications do just that. We're taking AI, we're building it into our applications. It's actually a new agentic pattern. It's a number of agents that collaborate together, each having their own skill to achieve a business outcome defined by a business process. So it's really a whole new class of applications that we're delivering, something truly different than what the market has seen to date.
And just to break that out a little bit more, so the
Sure.
difference between AI agents and applications.
Yeah. So AI agents are kind of a unit of work. An AI agent is a skill or a process definition that you want to build into an agent. So an AI agent is a unit of work that you want to define. They can take different forms. It can be in a workflow automation. So we have workflow automations that can be solve an end-to-end process where an agent is one step in that end-to-end workflow. Agentic applications are different. So workflow agents really are a predefined path. So I want to solve a problem with some reasoning as part of it. Agentic applications are trying to achieve an outcome. So teams of agents with specific skills work together, always reasoning back to what is the outcome that I'm trying to solve. So it's really it's not a predefined path. It really is trying to work together to understand what is the next step that you should take, and always going back to what is the outcome that you're trying to achieve.
Got it. A predetermined path or defined path, and then actually focused on the outcomes.
Yep.
Okay, so can you take one of those 22
Sure.
and walk us through end to end?
Yeah, sounds great. I'll give you the Source and Command Center. So it's a really easy one to understand. So Source and Command Center is working through, first you define an outcome or an objective that you want for this process. And it's a pretty broad process. So the outcome might be, I want to reduce my supplier spend by 15%. And I want to reduce lead times to get new inventory by 10%. That's the outcome I want to achieve. And then what I do is I bring together a team of specialist agents. One agent might be specialist in negotiations. One might be a specialist in creating RFQs. One might be a specialist in responding to suppliers. So I create this team of agents, and they work together across a very broad set of processes. So they look at demand, they look at inventory, they look at contracts, they look at supplier performance, further than a human could cognitively understand that process.
Wow.
So these agents can kind of work together. They can share context about the process. They have expertise built in, each one having a goal that they need to achieve. But they're all trying to achieve the overall objective, which is reduce supplier spend by 15% and reduce lead times by 10%. So it's a whole new pattern, and we've delivered 22 of these agentic applications. And the first set are really trying to automate work, but also trying to handle kind of a broader cognitive load that just a single human is not able to kind of reason across. And so that's why they're really different, and that's why they can truly help not only move work forward, but execute work with a human, and in many cases autonomously on behalf of a human.
It's pretty amazing to think about that, and to think about being able to do something that we couldn't do. So then when it comes to us,
Yep.
Where does the human stay in the loop?
Absolutely. Human is still at the center. So you can define what's great about these agentic applications. First, human have oversight. They can be in the loop for whatever decisions that they want to make. They can make judgment calls. They can make ethical trade-offs. If an agent is stuck, they can make the decision on what to do. However, they can turn up the level of autonomy based on how they feel comfortable. Meaning, if they want more of the transactions to be automatically executed, they can turn up the level of autonomy and increase capacity without always adding additional headcount linearly. They can turn it up for a period of time and then turn it back down. So they have a lot of flexibility to flex these agents up and down and how much autonomy they want to give. And I'll just give you a quick example of how you should think about it. If you're familiar with a full self-driving car. So we have Waymos, obviously, there's Teslas, but when you first go into a self-driving car, you might take your hand off the wheel for down the block, and then you're grabbing onto it. 2 weeks later, a month later, you feel more comfortable. It might take you to the grocery store. And then eventually, maybe it's taking you to, I live in Northern California, to Napa. It's a 2-hour drive and you're not touching the wheel at all. And you're just kind of observing and making sure that nothing is, going out of the ordinary. Agentic applications are the same way. You can think about them. You can start very simple, let them do kind of menial execution of work with oversight. And then you can turn up that autonomy level as you feel more comfortable that they're getting the result, making the right recommendation, executing the right transaction appropriately. You can kind of start to turn up that level of autonomy.
I really appreciate that example of the self-driving car because I was like that. And so I did do that.
Exactly.
And I also think it's really interesting to think of the autonomy like volume, like you can turn it up to have that. And which is, really good to think about how we stay in the loop with that.
Exactly. Human will be there and their roles will just change.
Yeah.
Right? They will be more strategic work. They will have the oversight. They will understand the overall context of what they're achieving. But the agents can do so much. So they're just kind of directing traffic, saying, okay, you go work on this problem, you go work on this problem, so they can manage over a broader set of processes, a broader set of work that they can achieve. But they're basically managing teams of agents versus always teams of people that are doing that. So people can go work on those strategic initiatives and manage multiple projects at the same time.
Amazing. Okay, so then really quickly, how is Oracle's approach different to this? How is this becoming enterprise ready from day one?
Yeah, it's great. So these agentic applications, I say they're a complete architectural break from how we've built systems in the past. We started from first principles and really defined what should an application be? What should it do? It should actually solve problems that we're trying to solve in the enterprise. That's how we built them. However, they sit on top of the system of record. They're completely integrated to the Fusion application core. So what that gives us is all the security, all the permissions, all the approvals, and most importantly, all the auditability. So I can audit every transaction. I know who made it, when they made it, why they made it. All of that is auditable. So you can't run an enterprise AI system without all of that security, that auditability in place, because it's just never going to work. So that's the value why we built them and extended Fusion applications with Fusion Agentic Applications, because we get all of that value, we get all of that data residency, and we get all of that security and permissions built into the system.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Chris. I could sit here and talk to you about this forever, and I appreciate the time.